Oh, I think I'm here. Let's see. Yep. Still not doing very well. But I gotta go on, push forward. Ow. Try to regain the mediocrity that was my life. Yeah, it actually gets worse than mediocre sometimes. Which is really nasty. Anyway, bird shit. Tons of birds. There must have been a fucking monster amount of birds in these trees. Anyway, great text. Speaking of bird shit. Okay, well, the same old routine. Oh, you're just stuck with your old religious craziness of thinking the world should make sense. It doesn't have to make sense. The most important game we play doesn't have to have any rules or make any sense or be coherent to logic and rationality. No, just play it. You're just being religious. You silly people expecting things expecting people to behave like intelligent animals? No. I mean, it just really is. It's disgusting is what it is. Because I think the argument can clearly be made that it's he who is stuck in traditional thought patterns, traditionally self-justifying circular logic of because it is, it will be. Yeah, period. Sort of a default. There's no God, but the smart universe knows what it's doing. Don't worry. Yeah, the bus doesn't have a driver. No problem. It's a smart bus. Yeah. Just don't have it today. Anyway, yeah, okay. So there's so many arguments to be made, and that's part of the argument, is that there's lots of little arguments, little digs you can take, little shots you can take at life, pointing out its futility or stupidity. Like the fact that the universe is just going to consume all of this eventually, turn it all into radiation. And if you just perpetuate, you're just going to create victims of that destruction, that Holocaust. It will be a Holocaust, in terms of it. It's not going to happen in one big giant burst, probably. It's probably going to be a slow, hard death. And no reason to sit there and just jump into that. I really don't need a dog chasing after me today, thank you. Really do feel like puke. Anyway, pushing forward that way. So there's nothing. So there's no. It's not like it's the only argument. It's not like it's the biggest argument. It's just one more argument, one more piece of evidence to say, whoa, maybe this isn't a good idea. Put on the brakes. Let's think about this. What exactly is it accomplishing? That kind of thing. But no, they can't do that. They can't add up arguments. They can't compile reasons not to do something. It's only each reason has to sit in its own little category, and somehow they just don't add up for them. So it's like you could have 10 reasons not to get in your car and go to the store. It's bad weather, the store's closed, lots of reasons. And somehow you just rationalize your way out of each one with some sort of preposterous escape hatch. Maybe the store's open because the shopkeeper forgot his keys and he had to go back to the store to get them, and so it's going to be open even though it's supposed to be closed. Some kind of bullshit, some escape for each one of the 10 reasons. And so, of course, any one of those 10 reasons could have this improbable, escape hatch kind of, didn't see that coming kind of solution or resolution. But we know the odds of all of them having ludicrous escape hatches is nil. So we're still stuck with the validity of the bulk of those arguments. And the bulk of those arguments are fairly decisive in the direction they point, logically, sensibly, rationally. They point to, you don't impose, you don't play with this. This is way out of your skill level, this creation thing. You don't play God if you don't have the certificate, and none of you fuckers have that. You think because nature gave you reproductivity, you have a right. Well, nature's stupid. Nature hands out licenses to anything, anywhere. Just says, here, you have the power. Here, you have the power. It doesn't test anything by any rational standard. Okay. Focus. And such. So let's see what else. I find the religious one is just it's just such an irritating argument for them to make, because you really can't get harder atheism than to have contempt for the core, to look at the core and say, what is the core of our existence? And the core of our existence is some kind of blender. It's nothing to revere. All hail the blender. May we all be diced and sliced into the eternal singularity. It's just, fuck this. I'm going to call that religion. To say, no, I'm not praying to a blender. It's the biggest anti-religion there could be. No. That's the anti-religion. No. Say something sensible and rational, and I'll say yes. But I'm saying no to all that crap. I'm saying no to this crappy premise that if we just sit around and wait for it, life will make sense. Yeah, it's just going to make sense all of a sudden. All of a sudden, it'll all make sense. No, it's not going to do that. It's going to, the longer it rots, the more it'll smell, the more it'll be realizable that it's just a decomposing hunk of pointless shooterosity. It's just a blank load. It's a blank, whatever they call that. It's nothing. It's not going to hit any target. It's doomed to failure. Doomed to it. There's no such thing as success. There's no target that has success written on it. The success is in the bottom of the quiver. Yeah, leave the arrow in the quiver and it's hit success. It's made it. It's at the singularity. Leave it the frick alone. Alright, so the other annoying thing he did, as he always does, he's turned it into a life-death argument. We must kill them. So it's not about not procreating. It's about killing people. It's about denying them something really meaningful. And yes, okay, I don't want to belittle it. For some people, having children is, 3D cartoons. It's like, oh, so cool. Oh, so cool. But we do know that that's a perceptual, psychological problem, that can be bent into other avenues. They can find something else to be interested in, like you may be doing some healthcare research, that might save children from harm. Manufacture a smart bus. Yeah, maybe they could do that. Save people lots of unpleasantness. So there's lots of other things to do besides producing, God playing. There's other occupations and activities besides God playing. So that's what's on the table. It's not their life. It's not knives in their head going backwards and forwards. No. It's just letting go of their notion that they have a right to play God. Now see, that's an argument, right? It's, and it's not the argument, but it's an argument. It's pretty strong. It is basically just a notion that they have a right to play God. Yeah. I mean, that is kind of ridiculable, isn't it? Having a notion that you have a right to play God. Huh. Yeah. Yeah. I think so. So with, an atheist can't realize that it's quite aggressive to claim a right to perpetuate a biological experiment over which you have no control. Well, I mean, we could analogize it to so many horrors that these same people would admit are real horrors, like genetically engineering in a laboratory, not even wearing gloves, mixing all kinds of chromosomes and stuff, and leaving the windows open so they could just fly out and infect the world. We'd call that kind of recklessness a war crime, and yet these breeders should somehow be revered for their recklessness. Yes, you have no hope of controlling this experiment. How brave of you to go out there and risk their suffering. How come that doesn't sound right? How brave of you to go out there and risk their suffering. Yeah, no, that doesn't sound right. Somehow the brave thing is missing there somewhere. Somehow that doesn't sound brave. No, it's missing some ingredient, like the bravery. Oh man, I do feel like fucking shit. I mean, I'm walking straight and, linearly correct, so I'm assuming I'm okay-ish. I can step across these things without falling down, hopefully. Yeah, it's not terrible. A little wobble. Anyway, so anything else? We got the argument from Pussy Religion. I mean, he ended the thing with the rainbow stuff, like, we're stealing the rainbow. And that's what we want to do. We just want to steal rainbows. I have nothing better to do in my life than go out and maliciously steal rainbows. Pop the rainbows. He's a rainbow popper. Yeah. I can't find any other jolly than having to incessantly, argue the simple argument that this has some sort of rationality is the only hope here. It's just going to keep on imposing it. You're going to keep creating the mess, keep making the mess. The cess will just keep pouring into the pool because I can't turn the valve off myself. Some of you have to help. You have to say, yeah, let's shut that thing down. Let's mitigate against the mess. But, that's having a good time. That's satisfying my own, somehow, self-serving aims. And I suppose to some extent I have to concede it, but it's like saying that somebody has a self-serving aim in stopping a war. I mean, duh. It is a little distracting. I mean, until you fix the war problem, the rest of life is kind of lame and insignificant. So, if your TV shows are going to mean anything again, you sort of have to stop the, bang, bang, ouch, ouch, shoot, shoot, ow, ow, horror, horror thing happening outside the door. Whatever. But it's just disappointing. Can't get any, they got nothing. They got nothing but lame little trideisms. For each argument, they got some little tiny little back door they build and try to squeeze out. Try to wiggle out of what the truth indicates. There's some sort of something special over on the other side. Invisible man will show up and save the day. Some sort of catch. And it's just rationalization. Just a deliberate effort to bend reality into something they can manipulate. Very nice of this guy to stop. This guy is nice. So, one good guy, one bad guy. That's the way the world works. Except it's probably 5 bad guys for one good guy, but whatever. There are the good, the bad, and the gray text. That's sort of a good title, I think. Yeah. I don't think this is going to be a good day. Anyway, it's almost hot. Yeah, well, I'm wearing. It is really warm. I just, you have to overdress. Being too cold is not a good idea. So I'm kind of stuck with the thermal, whatever it is, excess. So what was it? Is it still filming? Yeah, it is filming. It's fun. It's a movie. Ooh. I don't think there's anything else, right? What else did Great Text say? Your religion. No, I don't think there's anything else. It probably was, but I just don't remember it. It wasn't important, as none of his arguments are. None of them are profound or big. They're all just kind of wimpy and fizzly. And, they're just denials of the truth. Let's just keep playing with it until it really fucks us up. And, as long as it doesn't, completely fuck him over, it'll be okay. I mean, not that he hasn't been fucked over, but, clearly he hasn't been fucked over to one of those points where you're sitting there saying, kill me, kill me. Because once you've had one of those, you never get over it. You never come back from that and say, because you're always stuck with the memory of it. In the sense of a concept, the knowledge. It just sleeps back into you, even when you're at your most optimistic, and you'll say, yeah, but there was that. And, how you would have bargained anything away. Anything. To get out of that shithole you were in. And, you would have made any bargain. With any devil. And that's the truth of life. And you never want to put anybody in that position. That's the knowledge. That's the thing that just says, that's the big argument. You never want to put anything in that position for a fallacy, for a fantasy, for a joyride, for a thing that doesn't need to exist. Like I said, I can make these videos, convince somebody, or persuade them, or bend them, or inform them, enlighten them. Good word, enlighten. I can enlighten them, and then they will change their behavior and not have kids. So I just blipped humans out of the future. Now, I didn't murder them. I didn't kill them. There's no horror. There's no blood. There's no guts. There's just the absence of people. That's all. There's nothing to cry me in Argentina for. And that's what we're trading for, immunity to the horror. To me, that's one hell of a bargain. No right not to buy. No right not to pull that safety first off the shelf.